Aw, I'm sorry. This is the last thing you're going to learn about circles, but probably, in my opinion, the most fun and the most relatable to Algebra 2. So we're looking at this map over here, and it says the owners of an outdoor course want a way to communicate to all parts of the course. And so they're considering purchasing walkie-talkies with a range of 1/2 mile. So what you didn't know is that walkie-talkies, cell phones, satellites, all that, their range is in a circle, the center point being where you are. So this is our base station, okay? And it says that the range is 1/2 mile. So that's going to be our radius. And so, of course, they had to make this complicated. Each one of these grid lines is considered 1/8. So that'd be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8 is right here. So I'm going to go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This. And so what I'm basically doing is mapping off, this is my center point, and all these other circles, all these other dots on the coordinate grid are what I call the radius. And so that's the radius of 1/2 mile. And that's what you're going to be doing today. And then if I kind of sketch a circle around, oops, that was terrible, around these dots here, that's the range that is covered with these walkie-talkies. And so yes, every single part of the course is included in the range. So yeah, that would be a good purchase, to purchase those walkie-talkies. And basically what I just showed you is how you can graph a circle. You need a center point and you need a radius. And this is a diagram showing you that we call the center point, we give it the coordinates HK. So in this case, HK would be right here, and it's the coordinate of 2, 4. All right, and then the radius kind of goes around the circle. And I didn't do the diagonal radius because it's harder for me to count. I can't count that on my grid lines. So I kind of did the crosshairs because they're easy to count on the grid lines. All right, so let's look at some observations here. HK comes out of my formula right here, but I want you to notice that if it's negative in the formula, it's going to come out positive. And then my radius here is going to come from this section right here. So it's going to give me the square, the radius squared. So I just have to simply take the square root of the radius to get my actual R value. So let's look at what this looks like on paper with problems. Okay, if you're questioning why this turns out to be the case, this is kind of a proof right here that you can go through that shows you where they derived the formula for the circle. It comes from the distance formula, which you know. I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, so let's look at what is a standard equation if you have a center. So remember, this is going to be H. This is going to be K, and this is going to be R. Now I want to write the formula. So I basically am just going to plug in H and K where it goes in the formula. So I'm just going to plug in my 5 here, and my -2 here, and then my 7 here, and I'm going to square it. And so that's where I get the 49 is 7 squared. And a negative, a double negative, see it's negative here, so it's going to be positive in the formula. And here my 5 is positive, so it's going to be negative in the formula, okay? So let's apply that here to letter A, and then you'll do letter B on your own and see if you got it right. So it says the center is 3, 5. So I'm going to start with my standard formula, which is x minus 3 squared, because that's my H, plus y minus 5, and that's squared, that's my K, equals 6 squared. So I can replace my 6 squared with 36, and that would be the formula for the circle. So in the second situation, how come that didn't show up? 36. Okay, this is H. K, and this is R. So once again, I'm going to start with my generic formula. Now this is negative, so it's going to be positive in my formula. Again, this is negative, so it's going to be positive in my formula. And anytime you have a number in a square root, so if I take the square root of 2 and square it, essentially what's happening is 2 squared is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. So squaring cancels the square root symbol. So this is just going to equal 2. And that's my formula for this situation here. Okay, so that's how you write the formula given the information. Now we're going to talk about how you graph it. So you graph it by pulling out the center first. So here, if this was our formula, we would pull out h. It's negative here, so it's going to come out positive 7. We pull out 2. It's positive here, so it's going to come out negative 2. So that's my center point. You'll notice that this is 7, 2 is right here. This is counting by 2s. So this would be 6, 7 is kind of in between. And then 8 squared is 64, or 64 is 8 squared. So if I take the square root of 64, my radius is 8. So that means that this would be 8 units, 8 units, 8 units, and 8 units. Now they're using a compass to draw the circle. We're not, because our compasses just aren't very good. So here, let's look at another example. I'm going to look, this is my h, this is my k, it's negative, so it's going to be positive 2, positive 3. That's the center of my circle, which is right here. And then my radius is the square root of 100, which is 10. So I'm going to count 10 over and across. So I don't know if it's going to fit on this graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would be like right about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would be about here. Here and here. So I'm just going to kind of draw an arc that connects each of the dots because I don't have a compass. So your circle might look more like a funky square. That's okay, because we're just sketching it at this point. All right, so at this point you should be able to determine what's the equation and pull out the center and radius from each circle. So let's look at number 1 through 4. Go ahead and work these out on your own and then see if you did it correctly. Okay, hopefully your answers match mine. For number 4, I just wanted to point out that it's the square root of 7. However, I did not put it in my calculator and figure that out because it's going to come out as a decimal, so I just left it in the radical symbol. And please note as well that when you square the square root of 5, it comes out as 5. Because 5 squared is 25, and then the square root of 25 is 5, so they undo each other. Some other interesting problems were number 5 and number 7. If you want to graph a circle, you have to have the center and the radius. And for number 7, it says the student says that the center of a circle was at negative 2, 3. This is a very common error. Please note that if it was negative in the formula, it's going to come out positive, and a positive number in the formula is going to come out negative. So those were his errors. All right, let's do some problems that you have to do together. Number 1, again, you'll notice that this is h, this is k, and you'll notice in the formula they're both negative, so they come out positive. And this is your square root is 2, so your radius is 2. And again here, and that's your distance, by the way. So it was positive, so it comes out negative. Here's h and k. K was negative, so it comes out positive. And then you take the square root of 9, and that's where the 3 comes from. So that's all you have to do for the first few problems. And then they switch up. And then you're given a set where you have to identify the center and the radius and then sketch the graph. So obviously yours doesn't have the circle on it already. But what I would do on the side is just write C and R. And remember, your center comes from here. So if it's negative, it becomes positive 3, negative 3, and you'll notice that's where this point is right here. And then your radius is the square root of 9, which is 3, and you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the radius is 3. And then you kind of draw your circle around that. Your circles probably won't look as good as mine. It's okay. So here's where I get H. Here's where I get K. So my center is going to be +2, -1. And then my radius is the square root of 1, which is 1. So you'll notice it's my dot here, and then there's my radius of 1. So that's how you graph it. What else you got to do? All right, now you got to write the equation. Well, I've done this for you. I put the answers here. So basically, you're going to type the generic, the formula, and since it's positive, it comes in negative. And here it's -5, so it's going to be +5 in the formula. And then you square 9. That's where you get 81. And then again, it was negative, so it becomes positive. This is positive, so it's going to be negative in the formula. And then you square 5. And that's where the 25 comes from. All right, now if I give you the circle, the first thing you want to do is find the center point of the circle, which is right here. And that is at 4, -2. And then I'm going to count my radius, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my radius equals 4. So when I type, oh, look, I did make a mistake on this one. So pay close attention, because I'm thinking the radius is 4, but then I'm looking 4 squared is 16. But if I notice, every 2 grids is, so this is actually 1, 2. Each grid line is a half. So this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. So my radius is actually not 4, it is 2. And 2 squared gives me 4. So pay close attention to that. It looks like this one is labeled that way 2. So this is actually 0.5, 1.5, 2.5. So it's going by 1/2 instead of going by ones. So pay close attention to that. All right, if I look over here, I'm going to first find my center point, which looks to be here. Yeah. Okay, so the center point is at 2, -1. And every time I count 2, so that's 1, 2, 3. So my radius is 3. Let me double check. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So my radius is 3, and that's how they got 3 squared is 9. Okay. So please make note that I am going to correct your answers to number 43 when you turn in your packet. So I would make sure that you have work for every single problem. And then in number 43, before you turn it into me, I would get with a friend and have you and your friend go through each question and see if you got the same answers. And if you didn't, you might want to ask me or somebody else if they know where you might have made your error. See if you can find it yourselves, and if you can't, then let us know and we can find your error. When you turn the quiz in, you're telling me you're ready. I'm sorry, when you turned your packet in, you're telling me you're ready for the quiz. It can be on or before 4/20 next week, Friday. Awesome. Have a great time working out graphing circles. Y'all are doing really good with this unit, so keep it up.